Okay. Good evening once again, everyone. Uh, Good evening from here. I know we are connected from different country. We have different time zone. I'm connecting from Qatar, Doha, Qatar. All right. So, welcome once again for joining this orientation section for our batch 7 cohort. Okay. All right. So we'll start the presentation. So the reason why we are having this section is actually to give for sensitization and to prepare the new batch, to prepare the new cohort on what they will be expecting during the training and after the training, and what we actually have for them. Okay, some of you know me. Oh, all right. So my name is Alaka Dolapo Temitope. I'm currently in Qatar. I'm working with Qatar National Bank as a senior database administrator. I have my master's degree in big data analytics from the University of Stirling. I'm Microsoft certified trainer, and I have certification in different zone on data. All right, so I will be part of one of your instructor for this training. Okay, so you can see what you have on the slide. So please, if you cannot hear me, you can identify. And if you have any question while we are going through this section, you can let us know so that we can answer your question effectively. All right, so in this training, you are going to learn a lot of things. So you need to prepare yourself. You are going to learn a lot of skills. We are going to teach you Power BI, which will enable you to write Microsoft Power BI certification exam, that is PL300. We are going to teach you advanced Excel. Everybody knows Excel, but Excel is more than what we know, advanced Excel. We teach you SQL. SQL, those are the tools that you need to become a professional data analyst. And reporting service, SQL Server reporting service, SSRS, we have some role that what they do alone is SSRS, SQL Server Reporting Service, and we are going to teach you extensively. Tableau is also there. Then, so this part we are looking at either to replace Tableau with Python, but as it goes, we are going to see what we are going to do on that. So as we will promise that you are going to be meeting your instructor. These are the faces you'll be seeing very soon. Once you start the batch next week, you're going to be seeing these faces. We have Mr. John here. Mr. John Oko is a senior database administrator. He's in the US. He has worked on multiple jobs, multiple environments. He's a big man. So you're going to be seeing his face. Then we have Mr. Uche here. Mr. Uche is our infrastructure, is a support person. We promise that once you have been moved to the student group, we are going to provide you the software required, the software that you are going to use for this training. So if you have any challenge on the installation, he will be able to assist you. Then we have Mr. Godwin. Mr. Godwin is a senior database administrator. He's actually a consultant. Mr. Godwin's story marveled me every time. I thought about him. He's the only one that got, when you got 6 offers at the same time. So I was really surprised. He had 6 offers, 6 job offers at the same time. So he's a key person. He's going to be training you guys, and when it gets to getting jobs, he's going to support you. All right, we have our admin, our finance admin, that's Oluwafunmilayo Mary Alaka. That's our finance admin. I believe some of you that have already made your payment, you have reached out to her. So we also have Mr. Edex. Mr. Edex is also a senior database administrator in the US. Then we have Mr. Lawrence. So this is, I can call him Mr. Excel. So these are our Excel specialists. So it's going to be taking you through advanced analytics on Excel. So he's also a senior data analyst. He's in Nigeria. All right. So I don't know if Mr. Aaron is on this call now. Then let me see if Mr. Aaron is on this call. Okay, so Mr. Aaron is not here yet. While we are waiting for him, we are going to go to the next person. You are going to learn a lot of things today. You are going to learn from people's experience. You are going to learn from, we also invite some of our graduates, I mean, some of our alumni to also come and share their experience, come and hear from them, hear from the horses. You learn from their experience, what they're able to pass through to be able to overcome. I mean, coming through this training is actually not a bread and butter. You are going to make some sacrifices because we want to imbibe the skills in you, and you need to know it to the point that when you get to the point of applying for jobs, you are going to get the jobs. So I'm going to be bringing in Mr. Dele. Mr. Dele is a senior database administrator. He's working from the US. So we had him here last year. This year, we were unable to catch him, but we are going to hear from him. Okay, Mr. Frank, if you are not talking, please mute yourself. Mute yourself, please. Okay, I want to meet some people. All right, thank you for meeting yourself. All right, so I'm going to bring Mr. Dele. So you are going to be learning from Mr. Dele's experience. You are going to be learning from his experience. I'm going to stop sharing now. Learn from him and okay. All right. Please, can you hear him?
No, you can't hear him because you can see the video.
Oh, okay, hold on, please. You cannot hear him. Okay, hold on.
But I love the scripture. I love the Bible a lot. I love putting it. Like Luke would say, I just decided to act like him, to publish things that I've witnessed, that I've done, and that I've seen people around me do. Things that I believe in. Those are the things that I want to, come here and talk about this afternoon. These are things that I strongly believe in. These are ideas that I strongly believe in. These are ideas that I've seen people do, put into work, and I've seen their life transformed. And these are ideas that I've said to myself, if A can do it and is achieving this result, why can't I do it to achieve this result? So those ideas are the things that I want to come and tell you about. That, like my boss just finished saying, we are in the phase of an explosion in the world of data. Unfortunately, Africa is still sleeping. But the rest of the world, they are waking up and they are doing tremendous things with data. I've come to understand that the world is in phases. There was time when it was the Industrial Revolution. The white people were coming to Africa to get palm oil to power their engine in Europe and America. And we were living with the palm oil. All we know to do with the palm oil is eat. Then a phase came where it was no longer industry per se. It was no longer the big machine doing this thing. The era of the crude oil came. Unfortunately, Africa countries in Africa also have this thing in large deposits sitting under their soil. And the white man will come and mine this thing and take it back to their place, refine it, and bring it back as petroleum, as petrol, kerosene, diesel, whatever name they call it. and we are right there sitting on it. And now we are in the phase of data. We are in that era of data. And let us ask ourselves, the whole of Africa, what is our population? It's in billions. And that is data sitting with us. And I love the way this whole thing started. You know, painting the idea that, yeah, you can be in Africa, you can be in Nigeria, you can be in Ghana, you can be anywhere in the world, you can still make a career out of data. And, you know, looking at me, I worked in the bank for many years in Nigeria. I was a business development person, running around looking for deposits and stuff like that, building branches, you know. And I never one day sat down to, you know, think that all those things that I was doing were actually something that is powered by data. They are actually collection of data. You know, I get angry that I was not promoted when I need to be promoted. I get frustrated that I'm not performing. I'm not, somebody does not like my face. Now that I'm at the end, at the data head, I understand why I wasn't getting promoted then. So what am I trying to say? I do not have this background that many people had. You know, like my boss just talked about Python in Africa. The only Python I know was the snake, finish. But when I came here and I was opportuned to walk this path that you just started now, I call it an opportunity because it is not every Nigerian that is in the US that is doing this. In my place of work, we just employed the third Nigerian. I have been the only Nigerian there. So I know it's an opportunity. It's something that is associated with great. So you being in this meeting today is a great opportunity. I know you can, you know, after this meeting, you can decide, oh, let me walk away. This language, this thing that I'm talking about is not real. But I'm telling you, I'm a living witness. I was opportune to meet somebody that, you know, walked this path. When she started, she told me, I told her that you are joking, you are lying, until she got a job. That was when I decided to walk the same path. Like I said, I saw her apply the principle. I saw her, you know, got results, and I saw the good results, and I walked into it. And in my walk, when I decided to go to that path, I came across Godwin, and Godwin made me know my boss, Mr. Dolapo. So, and that is my journey. So it's not something that it's not a rocket science. Managing data is not rocket science. It just requires you to make up your mind that this is the path I want to go through. And once you make up your mind and you are dedicated to that path, my guy, you will achieve the result that you desire. And the first step towards achieving that result is where you are today. I remember some years back, I also started in an orientation meeting like this, and people came in to ginger me, to, you know, ginger, like the slang would say, ginger my swagger. And I remember, if Godwin will still remember, I remember when they asked me to make a comment, I told them that my slogan for this class is, I die here. I either make it or I don't just know. I gave it all. And today I am reaping the results. And I am glad I took that step. I will encourage everybody listening to me that is a part of this meeting that is, you know, proposing to go through this journey. It's not, yeah, it requires hard work. But hard work does not kill. It makes you stronger. It gives you results. That is the way I see it. I've gone through so many things. You know, this morning when my boss called me, I told everybody that cares to listen, I worked late yesterday, and I said, today I'm going to sleep throughout today until 3 p.m. when I have my next deployment. But when my boss called me and said, I need you for this, I said, I must do it. And my mother-in-law was like, who is this strong man? And I told him my first day at work, what you did, sir, when I reached out to you. And this is me today. Meaning, it is possible. I started one day not knowing how to take the next step. And I rushed back to him because he was my coach. And he told me how to take that step. And today, I'm even flying, not running. So it is possible. We need to start from somewhere. After this class, are you just going to finish this class and after finishing it, somebody will come knock on your door and say, oh yeah, get up, come and take job? Probably no. That is where you need to, encourage yourself. There's a phase where you need to learn. There's a phase where you need to push yourself beyond what you've learned. And there's a phase where you need to encourage yourself and tell yourself that this is possible. I must get results. So the first phase is when you come to class. You need to learn. The second phase is when you, on your own, decide to go above and beyond what you've been taught. And the third phase is probably where you will be sitting with Godwin in Open My Offer Letter class, when you will be putting in the application, when Godwin will be telling you that in a day you need to put in 50 applications, in a day you need to do 100 applications, and you do this application and you keep getting, we are sorry, we've moved on. Do you go and sleep? No. That is the phase where you need to encourage yourself and tell yourself, this is where I belong. This is what I want to do. This is what I've signed up for. And I'm assuring you, if you follow through these three phases, you will get the job. The jobs are there. That data is the craziest thing, and it's so comfortable doing the job. In fact, you are looking at me in my office space. This is where I stay Monday to Friday. And there are times I do not, it's crazy at times it's just so slow that if I turn my camera to a corner of my office, you see my bed right there. If I turn my camera to some part of my office, you see my TV connected to internet. I watch soccer, and it's so simple. And they pay good money. At times I tell people it is not the work we do that they pay for. They pay us so much to keep our mouth shut because we see so many things. It is not really the job. Because come to think of it, you keep saying SQL. Yeah, the SQL Server 2022, every time Microsoft makes improvement on these things, it's just you going there to click, knowing what to click and how to click it. There's nothing new that we're doing. It's just knowing what to do and how to do it. Once you do it, it's there, it's working. If you set up your environment in the right standard and set up every parameter with the right measurement, you're good. You can go and sleep. Nothing will happen. So why are they paying us this much? It's because we see so many data that might, if it comes out, it might be to the disadvantages of the organization. Okay, just let's pay him so much so that somebody will not offer him enough for him to divulge this information. So that is my thinking why we get paid so much. We get paid so much. Everybody in this call, my boss, my seniors, they will all agree with me. We get paid so much. So let's be frank. I don't want to deceive you, my fellow and incoming data analysts. We get paid so much. Even in Nigeria, you get paid so much. I follow the news in Nigeria. I know they are clamoring for 100,000 minimum wage. But I know data analysts in Nigeria earn as much as 450. Look at the gap. So we get paid so much. And if you want to, I came to this country as an immigrant, and I know how my journey at the beginning. I know how tough it was. I've done so many things that I'm not so proud of to talk about when I come to Nigeria. Imagine a big guy in the bank doing some dirty work here. So I know the difference between doing those dirty work and doing data. And I know the income between these two things. So if I say we get paid so much, we actually do. And the funny thing is, I'm so sorry. Am I taking too much time, my boss?
No. Continue, please. Continue.
Because I'm not even started on the topic you gave me. The funny thing is, the job is so stress-free that we can do more than one. I don't want to point to my guy again, but my boss John does. I know how many he does, and because it's so easy. If somebody has headache in your place, by your side, a guy has headache by your side, and you are saying, "Oh, what?" And somebody comes to you and say, "This man has a headache," and you say, "Okay, give him 2 Panadol, it will be fine." And they say there's Mary beside you too. She has a headache. What will you give her? The same 2 Panadol. It's the same, the same kind of sickness. Oh, there's performance degradation in environment A. There's performance degradation in environment B. Do this. The same thing you do in the so if you know what you're doing, you can do more than one. So that means your earning will be more 2 times, 3 times. I won't know of somebody. If I mention the person's name, you guys that watch home video in Nigeria, you will know the guy very well. He's a very popular, but he's no longer into home video. He does 5. He does 5. And he says some is his retirement benefit that he has come to collect in America, because nothing happens in those environments. They just pay him for sitting there and say, "Oh, I am the administrator." So, guys, you are lucky to be in this forum. You are lucky to be here. You consider yourself very lucky. Consider yourself that you've chosen a path that will lead you to greatness if you are ready to put in the work. Then 2, after the lecture, there are a lot of opportunities. I know my boss just, talked over it at the higher level, but I want to go down, a little bit. You can decide to remain a data analyst. What does data analyst do? They analyze data sets and give insights. Those things that cannot be seen, those trends that cannot be seen by ordinary eye. You can, using some tools, project this trend so that heads of organization can see where you do not, ordinary eyes cannot see. It's like, it's like when people go to Soothsayer, when people go to native doctors, you become the native doctors of this organization. They come to see you and say, "Oh, last month we did this sales. The month before we did this sales. The month before we did this sales. What is happening to us?" And you sit down with those data, just like those native doctors that would throw their IFA, whatever, and tell them, "Oh, you are not doing so well in this state. The reason why you are doing so well in this state and not doing so well." You give them insight into this data. You can decide to remain like that. They keep worshiping you. We have a lot of them in my place of work. They tell us why our product is not doing so well in a particular state and why some states are doing so well. Why the bank, I work in a bank, sorry. Yeah, I manage the database of a bank. Why the brand of the bank is not doing so well among the Black populace why it is doing so well among the whites. They see these things from the data, the day-to-day records that are kept in the database. So you can decide to remain like that. You can decide to be a business intelligence analyst. That's another area. You can, after leaving this class, you can decide, oh, I want to be a business intelligence analyst. What you will be doing is look at the business processes and see how you can turn it into technical framework that will be easy for people to, develop new strategy, new products, and you'll be making your money. My bank just employed a director. She's from Abia State in Nigeria. She did banking and finance in Abia State University, and she came down here, did data analysis, went further to do business intelligence and data science, one thing. And she's a director. She makes big money. She's the second Nigerian that will join me in my bank. You can decide to go that field, but you need that foundation of being a data analyst. You can decide to be a data scientist. And everything that my boss has talked about, Python, that is where it comes very handy. You can decide to do, what does a data scientist do? We predict. We use the data that we've gotten. Oh, last month we did this thing, the month before we did this thing, the month after it we did this thing. Why is this thing possible? What if we continue like this? Where are we going to be in 2025? Is there anything that we need to change to improve the result of 2025? Is there anything that you become, the oracle that sees the future? You can decide to be that. You can also decide to be data engineer. You create pipelines. So there are a lot of things that you can do. You can decide to drive yourself. That is the new era that we have, and we are just starting. We are scratching it. We are scratching it because now everything around us is powered by artificial intelligence. And this thing collects data that you can scrap online, do data scrapping to get this data, to mine them. So I don't know, as a young person, I keep telling my younger ones, I keep telling my sons, this is the way to go. This is the future. This is the future. You can decide to be a database administrator, and you are just concerned with the infrastructure, making sure that database, the servers are well configured, the database are set right, the connection string is well, the security. Database administrator, all we do is just maintain the infrastructure so that the retrieval, security, and the storage of data can be achieved. Quick retrieval, storage, and security. That is all we do. And once these things are in place, they are in place. There are times we just sit down, myself and my colleague, we just sit down and say, okay, throughout this week, we've not done anything, no. Let us go and remove that one that was in place, and let us, after some time, put it back in place. Just to get busy. And who can relate with me, Godwin and Mr. John, they can relate. These are things. You just sit down, let us do enhancement. So you can decide to be that. You can decide to be a marketing analyst. You can decide to be a financial analyst that deals with financial figures and project and predict. And say this stock is going to, if you invest in this stock, in 6 months' time, you're going to be smiling. Take your money away from this stock. These are things that you can become after this class. These are things that you can become after this class. You know, I came into data as a database administrator. And when I got into database, you know, into the environment, I began to see that the people I work with are not my kind. I began to see them talking about extraction, transformation, and loading of data. I began to see them talking about publishing data in Power BI in reporting server. And I began to wonder, where is this language coming from? But we are all talking about the same data. And that was what brought me to the data analysis class. And when I finished that class, I discovered that, yeah, I have insights. I can, you know, look at data, play with it, and get some basic insights. Can I predict what is going to happen with this data? No. There's another aspect called the predictive side, and that was why I came back to take my advanced class in data science. And based on the knowledge that I've gotten, next month next month is July. By August, I should be starting my master's in data science. And these are things I never did while I was in Nigeria. The best data that I know when I was in Nigeria was MTN data, mobile, Econet data, T-Mobile, what's his name? Econet data. That was all I know. But I just found out that there is the data that puts money in our pockets. And that is the data that you guys you've been opportune to sit and discuss about today. I hope I've not bored you with my long stories and long talks. Olga, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful piece, man. Okay, so that is from Mr. Daly. I believe we've been able to learn some things about data. Please, you can unmute yourself and respond. I believe you have been able to understand some things. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Good to hear that. All right. So from one of the things he said, some people used to think that it is impossible for you to actually get job from Nigeria to abroad. You know, there was a time, to the glory of God, where I'm currently working, I got the job directly from Nigeria. And I mean, I was brought from Nigeria to this place, and I'm working for one of the top bank in Qatar. You know, when I told one of my friends about it, the guy told me, he said, it's a lie, it's not possible. He said that they did not have any experts in their environment, that they have to bring you from Nigeria. There's something that you guys should know. There are a lot are happening out there that we don't know. One of the organizations that I'm aware of, they have slots for Nigerians. They have slots. Here, they have slots. Now, this particular slot, we want a Nigerian to occupy this slot. So there are a lot of opportunity out there, but when we are not informed, we'll be deformed. All right, so thank you so much for that beautiful piece, Mr. Daly. So the next one we are going to be talking about is we are going to be moving to knowledge sharing. And two people are going to give us their experience about this, Mr. Godwin and Mr. John. So I'm going to bring in Mr. Godwin now. He's going to give us, I told you earlier, Mr. Godwin actually, is one of the pioneers of this community. He's in charge of the job application. I told you he was the one that got this job at the same time, and how to decline, how to say, okay, I want to decline this, and I want this, So he's going to teach us, going to elucidate us on his experience on this journey. All right, Mr. Godwin, are you there? Mr. Godwin still on this call? All right, Mr. Godwin is here.
You me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. Well, my name is Godwin. I really want to welcome everyone to this beautiful forum. There's a lot to learn. I'll be the first that you're going to receive. We're going to set a date for that. I think it's starting from next week. And you're going to enjoy joining us. There's new technologies coming up. And one good thing about us is that we're able to bring you all these technologies. If we are not able to teach you in these sessions that you will go through, what we do is we give you the materials. Materials is just like you also learning it. And those materials are not you going to go and read. We know that Africans don't read. It's true. So our gods, or the God that created us, didn't give us those abilities like the white people. White people read a lot. And I've worked in a company where they are just intermediaries to companies that sell books. And that company make more than $6 billion a year. Just intermediary, just like Spotify. They are like Spotify, and they make more than that amount of money. That's to tell you the amount of people reading books every day. But we know that we don't have that culture of studying. So what we do, or what we do here, is to give you those materials that is able to lecture you the same way we will lecture you. But we know the materials that you need. So we're dealing with those materials that you need. So those materials is what we're going to bring up to you so that you will use it to learn. It's very vital that you know what is trending right now. Our industry is changing. We have AI that is going to disrupt a lot of things. That is why we are going to be inculcating those abilities in what we do. The past people that have left, that are in the job market, some of them are already working. What we are going to start doing for them is during our classes with them, not you guys, we're going to also be bringing those knowledge to them and revamping those knowledge again. For example, Excel has improved. So there are a lot of AI techniques in Excel today. So that is why we are different. So if you're choosing us, you know that you're choosing the best people that is going to take your hand through those processes and making things easy for you. Because AI has changed and disrupt a lot of things. So because of that, we have also improved to meet those demands, to meet those places. Like, for example, like I was talking about, we are looking at changing Tableau for Python. Tableau is there, but it's not common with companies. So we're looking at what is obtainable out there in the job market. So when you go to the job market, what is easier for you to, as a material for you to really grasp? First, instead of we're going to wait. For example, I would prefer we switch it, because Python, we have the materials we're going to give you. We also have the same materials for Tableau. So we can use it, we can give you material for Tableau and tell you to do homework on it. So because Tableau is already mimicking Power BI. So the only difference is just small. So there are a lot of things that are obtainable today that we're going to bring in here. So if you go other places, for the fraction of the amount that we're doing this, they'll be doing it for $6,000, $5,000. But we are not doing that. We are giving back to ensure that people are able to learn and go into the job market and get the same job. The same thing that you're going to learn here is what is going to be given to you any of the best universities that you will go to. In fact, we have some of our students that are doing masters elsewhere, and our knowledge that we have given them here is what has made them be the best in their universities. We have few students that is in Canada today, and he told me directly that what the whole of the class, all of them do just surround him because he's so good. Not like he's over good, because of what he learned here. So I'm encouraging you that when you come here, it's not an easy place that you just come and it's sweet. Why I will say it's a little bit easy is because we do it on the weekends when you are free. You don't have excuse because you don't work on the weekends. So for those fraction of time, give it time. Close from church on Sunday on time. Go home. Your pastor will not give you money. Go home. You are seeing it now. Learn these things. Go home on time. Rest for this class. Because we're doing it Saturdays and Sunday. Go home. Don't sleep in the church. You will not make money from the church. It's impossible. So go and rest for your class. Don't give excuses. Put in the work. Once we give you the knowledge, put in the work. Because these things is when you put in the work, that is when you gain the knowledge. So the knowledge comes from the kind of work you put in. So as you put in a little work, let's say you are studying, you are in the class Saturday and Sunday. The rest days are free for you. They are not just free. So you have your time to go through your notes again. So part of what we're going to show you or teach you from our first class and our second class or our third class is to teach you how to use OneNote, how to use different materials that is going to improve you for our school. That way, you are going to be able to go through all the notes. In fact, you can screenshot everything you see. Whatever you don't understand, we can also teach you how to probe it, how to check it, how you're going to go on the internet. In fact, that is what we have added to our first session now. How you can go on the internet and research what you think you have learned so that you can know it more than we do. So that's the best thing. The reason why we are different is that we are all currently working. There is no staff here that is not working. Lawrence is working. I'm working. John is working. Alaka is working. All of you know where Alaka works. I work for a law firm and I work for a university right now. So we are already working. We know what is obtainable in companies, in all the big companies. In fact, I'm not going to brag. I have placed more than 30 people in the job market. Personally, I have done that. And I don't expect anything from them, but I can proudly call them anywhere or when you need help and somebody will be there to help you. So if you have issues and you come to us, we know people that is there to help you if we are busy. Or if we don't know that thing you're calling for, we also know somebody that will know it. So that's why you're in the right place. You're in the place to network, because some of these things that you come here for, it's not just to learn the knowledge. It's also to gain that network so that if you are in Nigeria and you go abroad, you will see people to talk to, people that is going to show you the way, right? Because most of us, we live abroad. I stay in America, here in New York. So at least we can also show you things and teach you what we know, right? And that is going to help you. So welcome to this great session. And I hope you have taken my word. It looks like a joke, but if you don't take anything seriously, you will not gain anything. There is no magic about it. So I will admonish you, Saturday and Sunday, go and mark it somewhere. This is the time for my class. I will rest and wait for it. Don't be rushing. Oh, I'm in the car. That's why I cannot show my face. I am in the car. I'm not showing my face. I cannot show my face. They have seized the light. Before the time, get a chargeable lantern in your background. Be prepared. Behave like you want to gain something. It's just like a new baby is coming to your house. You will prepare the house, right? You will buy fuel for your generator. So do it like that. Be serious about or whatever you are serious for, you will gain results. This is just for a few months, right? So Those few months, make it a beautiful journey for yourself and gain this knowledge. And you will be happy you did. Trust me. No matter where you are, they can take anything away from you. They cannot take knowledge away from you. If you take me to Somalia, I will succeed. No two ways about it. I succeeded in Nigeria. I succeeded in Europe, in Spain. I am succeeding in America now. So there is nowhere I will not succeed. Take me to Somalia, I will succeed very well. I have a lot of inherent knowledge that I can give anywhere, right? So that is the same thing you should be. So strive for knowledge. Knowledge is more beautiful than money. So everywhere in the internet, they are saying that now. If you give somebody 100 million, he's going to burn it out if he doesn't have the knowledge. But if you have the knowledge, take 10 million naira and you'll be more than somebody that has 100 million in no time. So knowledge is everything. Gain this knowledge. Be prepared. When we tell you, show your video, show your video. Nobody is against you or looking at your face if you are fine or not. That's not what anybody is here to do, right? We are here for you to learn and learn very well. All right. So enjoy your day. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Godwin. Thank you so much. I mean, even for our graduated students, please, whenever you see him, hold him. He's very good at job search, getting job for people. He's very good at that. You know, he has mastered the principles. You know, he have the process, and he's able to apply it well. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Godwin. All right, so before we go to the next one, so currently we are still on knowledge sharing. We are going to bring in Mr. John. Mr. John is not here physically, but we are going to hear from him. So after then, we are going to hear feedback from the outgoing students, from our graduated students. We are going to hear from them, you know, say by their fruit, you shall know them. You know, they will be able to tell you their experience, how they are able to scale through and what they are doing currently, and how the knowledge has impacted them, you know. All right, so I'm going to bring in Mr. John now. All right, Mr.
Every time
John,
that I'm called upon,
welcome.
you know, encourage upcoming IT professionals, I can't help but to cast my mind back to how I started. And usually I'll tell you my own story and you get motivation from it. If you don't get motivated by my story, I don't know whose story else that you'll be motivated by, because I am not from the science or, you know, technical or, you know, backgrounds, but I was smart anyways when I attended my college, but it wasn't in the area of science. Okay. So by training, I was meant to be a teacher, right? I was meant to be elementary school teacher, to be precise, after my first degree. And then I did my second degree in educational psychology. So I was also still meant to be in the teaching industry. So I actually went back to Nigeria and I accepted a lecturing position at our state university, University of Cross River State. Now, all those things were just, I knew that they were not going to lead me to where I want to be in my own goals that I've set for myself. A lot of lecturers in Nigeria, even as a professor, probably you can earn like 500,000 or maybe 600,000 naira. And trust me, that is peanuts. That is peanut for an ordinary, let me not say ordinary, so to speak, but for an entry-level data analyst, database administrator, data scientist, entry-level. That is just basics. And you will look at it and you'll be like, what am I doing in Nigeria? Right? You want to ask yourself that question every day, especially for those of you who are still in Nigeria. And when we talk about opportunities abroad, they are endless. They are endless. There are so many countries that are better than Nigeria. I'm not saying that staying in Nigeria is not good, but if you stay in Nigeria, you have to have that vision and set a goal for yourself and ask yourself, will staying in this country take me to where I need to be? And if you have not gotten an opportunity to travel abroad, you have to at least have the mindset of somebody who is living abroad. And that is why you have this community. So this community is more like an eye-opener to a lot of people. And that's how I started. When I joined a community here in the US, I started learning a lot. Even in terms of personal care, in terms of setting personal goals, in terms of aspiring higher. Because before I started earning a good amount of money, I used to look at money like you should always be contented with what you earn. Like if I'm earning 120,000 as a lecturer, as assistant lecturer, then I'm okay. Families will still be looking up to me. If I pass through the street, they are still respecting me. They say, hey, our lecturer. I was like, no, for me, this is not the level I want to be. So when I did my master's in the UK, I applied for a visa to the US, and some of my colleagues were laughing. But I knew what I was trying to do because the opportunities in the USA are endless. So you want to position yourself in a place where you have that forward thinking about your life, your family's life, what you need to do for yourself. And when I talked about telling my story, this is my story, right? This is how I transitioned into IT. When I came to the US, I was still in that mindset of my passion is for teaching. My passion is, hey, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. And I tried. And guess what? Here in the US, they wanted me to, okay, you have to be an academic doctor before you can be a university professor, right? And in my field, as education there are a lot of people, so it's competitive. So because of that, there are high standard of academic qualifications that you need to have before you can be a teacher in a college or university. And I did not have a PhD. I have a master's, but I didn't have a PhD. And I could teach in maybe community colleges and things like that. But that's where I was pursuing, because I was thinking that's where my passion is. That's where God calls me to be, all those bullshit. But at the end of the day, when I joined some communities and I started opening my mind, I started exploring opportunities in information technology. So all the what is it called? Assistant teaching, tutoring. I was working in a high school as a paraeducator. All those things, I threw them away. And I started learning. So my first course was in 2022, January, when I started. I bought that course. Some of you here are paying a peanut for a very valuable lecture and lessons and skill sets that you can even transfer to your generation born and unborn. But we know how much we paid for what we are teaching you guys for free. I paid $2,500. And some of my colleagues who are still doing care job and teaching right now, they say they can't pay that type of money. They don't believe in it. So, but today when I tell them my story, again, I remind them, they already know my story, but I remind them constantly where I started. They know that they have made a mistake. So I went from there into taking that class in January 2022. I finished it in three months. And then I started applying for jobs constantly. So by May of that 2022, I got my first job, right? And then back to back, I just got another one. In June, I got another one that same June. All with different start dates. So I started with 3 jobs, clean. But right now I'm doing 2 anyways. And we try to tell me we are making. Is to spoil you, is to motivate. It's the same person that we're working together as care assistants, because I moved from being a teacher into care job, because COVID-19. When COVID-19 hit, the schools were shut down and all that. You don't want to be in such industry where if anything happens, you cannot eat. As a teacher, during holidays in the US, they don't even pay you. You have to look for a summer program or some programs that you want to do or drive for Uber to earn your living. So back to the story. From there, I took that class. The person that introduced me gave me some rundown, just like we have you guys here now. As you're leaving, you have to tell other people the story. But for those of you who have completed the program, like Dele, you have to tell people outside who are still wallowing in the ignorance of IT. They don't know how to get into IT. You have to use your story to explain to them and bring them here. That was how I got motivated. So when I took that program, he told me everything. He said there's a community, this community, we help ourselves, blah, 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 blah. I paid that money, did the class, got the job, and in the community, if I face any issue, that's where I get help from. So if let's say I'm troubleshooting a SQL agent job failure or a backup job is failing, or I have a migration project, I don't know how to do it, I have that community. I go to them and I present my case, and somebody is willing to jump in and help me. And that's why we have that open my offer letter. If it is not channeled towards that yet, we can tailor it and even have another group where it's going to be focused on work-related problems. Every data analyst and data scientist or whoever that have become in this industry, we have to have a channel where we work as a community. You have a problem or a project at work, you bring it there, we share ideas, we resolve it. That is how Indians help themselves. And one of the reasons why we have put ourselves in this position is to build that type of community where you know that, hey, I have a backup. So it is not a place where after you get a job, you just run away. You have to stay with us so that you can help and be helped, okay? This is a community. Beyond paying and taking the courses and getting a job, you still have to stay with us. That's what I think. That's my advice. So when I joined those communities, started my jobs, it's a lot easier. With my background from teaching and all that I didn't do all those things, I had to do extra anyways. I had to squat down, I had to bend down, I had to study day and night. And some of my friends, when I started sharing my screen and walking them through SQL, they will be like, wow, when did you start? I just started, as I just told you, January of 2022. So how do I get comfortable navigating the screen in my SQL Server Management Studio or any other platform that we use? Is constant practice. And that is the beauty of IT. It's repetition. Once you have done it and you are doing it every day constantly, trust me, it will become like second nature to you. And it's the same transferable skill, you can transfer it to another person. Now, the more you help another person, the more you get better. So for those of you who are new and are just starting and are not from technical backgrounds, trust me, you can do it. If I could do it, you can do it. This is not rocket science. It's not something like, oh, people who are born, with different brain, their brain is wired differently. No. Some people say, IT is for science students. No. We have come to an era where you see people, employers will hire them because they are able to demonstrate that they can do the job. They don't even look at your educational qualification in the resume, in your resume anymore. They look at your work experience and your performance in the interviews. So when you're here and you're new and you're having that fear of mind and you're saying, hey, would I even be able to do it? Would I understand it? Would I know it? Throw all those things away. Those feelings, just throw them away. Just make sure that You know, what we ask of you, your 100%. Bring in your A. If instructors are coming to class before you, you are wrong already. You have to be waiting for instructors. That is how crazy you should be for it, for be hungry for this. And if you are from non-technical background, you have to just make sure that you come and you join and you listen. You are driving. Class is supposed to start 7 p.m. and by 6:45, you are still somewhere drinking, and then you come to class late. You will not achieve anything. At least if you think that you are paying peanut, think about the time that you are going to commit to it. We come here to teach or impart, share any skills. We are sacrificing a lot to be here. We have come to a place where when you lose 1 hour, you have lost like $60 or $70, even $100 in some places. And we sacrifice all those things. We come here, we try to encourage us. So you as a beginner, you have to bring in more than what we are bringing to make it work for yourself. Like we say, once you get a job, it's easier. Before you get a job, it's tougher. I'm not saying this to scare you, but to motivate you. The process for getting a job is once you get through that one, every other thing is just beans. Because we are here. That's why. People who have gone through it, like Dele has gotten a job, right? Through the community, and that's why he's sharing his skills. He can tell you firsthand the benefit that he's getting, the support that he's getting. Mr. Uwa and Alaka can tell you how we all started. We support ourselves. Like, if I have any problem now, and I call Uwa will just show up. Like, whatever he's doing, he will just show up. He just needs to connect to Zoom. Alaka, the same thing. Edward, the same thing. You have to just show up, connect, and share screen. If you cannot contribute, you will hear what another person is contributing. Next time when another person has a similar issue, you'll be able to contribute. So the bottom line of what I'm saying is that you have to be present, not for the fun of it. Be present, be positive, be curious, ask questions. I feel like you're not understanding me. The more questions you ask, the more it will remind me of him. Because even though it's broad, we try to concise it, give you only the pieces that are very, very relevant to your career. So please, for the new guys, make sure that when you start the class, you're present. Those who have just graduated. I mean, like I just said, finishing the class is not the end of the class. Like, we are preparing you guys to go into IT and interviews. How do you do well? It's by constant practice before the interviews. The more you interact with these tools, like in a data analyst now, once you know SQL, you know Tableau, you know Power BI, you know Excel, you know a little bit of Python, you are good to go. How will you know it? It's by constant practice. Do not leave any day pass by without you opening your laptop and launching at least desktop, Power BI desktop with Power BI service. But Power BI desktop, you're already familiar with it. So you might, do a little bit further. There are even some YouTube videos that can show you how to get Power BI service for free or for a little change. So step it further from the class. Step it up. Challenge yourself. You graduate, graduate from class into another class. That class should be your own curriculum that you have built for yourself. Make a decision every day, interact with your resume. Anything you put in your resume, you should be able to know how to say something about it. Because at the end of the day, your resume is what is going to give a picture of who you are to your interviewer, HR, and all that. So I know that Tuwa is going to, in the future, tell you guys more about preparing for job and all that, but let me drop a tip. When you graduate now, after your project defense, within 1 week, put your resume together. Put your CV together. If you're waiting for somebody to push you to put your CV together or anything, you are failing yourself. Make sure that you take advantage of the resources in the class, put your resume and CV together, share it so that we can review it. Once we review it and we say, oh, it's good to go, trust me, start shooting those applications. Apply like you're crazy. As soon as interviews start coming in, they start calling you. You know, first time HR interviews, we just want to reach out to you to know how you're doing and, you know, discuss your resume. Is this a good time? You say yes. They say, okay, this position is for data analyst. You're going to be joining a team of 4 people and the salary is blah, 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 blah. And the other benefit associated with the salary. And, you know, and they will ask you, tell us a little bit about your experience. You tell them about your experience. If they're happy, they move you to the next level, which is technical interview. And technical interview is when they will now ask you specific questions about the tools that you have learned and how to use them, how to analyze data, how do you do your visuals, how do you, you know, use Power Query and all those type of things. They will start asking you. Once you're able to convince them.
Thank you so much. We lost Mr. John. Thank you so much for that wonderful piece, Mr. John. Man. So I believe we are learning. Are you guys learning? Please, you can unmute yourself and respond. Are you learning?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are.
So much.
Great. So thank you. So one of the things I was able to pick from there is that the first thing is that you need to be able to convince yourself first that this will work. You know, if you can convince yourself, I mean, that is when, I mean, you need to believe before you can achieve it. So the first thing is convince yourself that whatever you want, your decision, whatever you have, whatever you have made as a decision is going to work for you. So it's just 3 months. In 3 months, make sure that you're able to put everything, all the required sacrifice. You are going to do a lot of work. I mean, for every classes, you have assignment, you have tasks, you are going to do a lot of work. And this will make you to become better. They used to say something, if you want to know how to dance, what do? You dance more. If you want to know how to sing, you sing every day. So if you want to become a professional data analyst, it means you need to make it your habit, what you need to do every day. All right. So I've also bring in Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence, are you on this call? Mr. Lawrence. So please, if you have questions, please, you can compile them so that at the end of everything, you can ask your question and we'll be able to answer your question. Mr. Lawrence, are you there?
Hello.
Oh, great. Yeah, welcome, Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you very much. I want to welcome everyone to this great forum. Nothing much to say. Like my predecessor, they've said much of what needs to be said. For me, I just want to encourage us. Like we'll start by next week. Please get prepared. Put your laptop in order. If you don't have, please feel free to borrow from someone. And by the end of the class, you can return it to them. And then make effort at getting yours as well. So, like I said, I'll be taking you like one of your basic classes. We'll start with Excel, and then we'll start like from the basics. Because we understand that some of us, we've used Excel and we are familiar with it, but we'll start from the very scratch, and then we'll build up gradually. The classes are structured such that one leads to another, right? So that way, You have that gradual process where you can learn, you ask questions, and then you have take-homes where you are required to replicate the same thing that you've done in class and even do more. So the formula is this. You come to class, be attentive. When it's time to show your screen or tell us what you know, please do. At the end of the class, please go back, try some things on your own. You have a whole lot of resources, right? YouTube is full of videos that can assist you. But at the end, we want to see you come out strong. Show us what you got. Like we have a project defense where you come in, we give you a topic, you dissect it, give us the analysis and all that. So this is like a stepping stone for some of us that will catapult us into the next level. So please come prepared. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Lawrence. Thank you for that. All right, so we are rounding up the section already. So we'll be bringing in our graduates. They are going to talk about their experience. So I'll bring in Frank first. Frank, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, great. Welcome.
Okay, let me show my face. Oh, can you guys see me?
Yeah, sure, we can see you.
Hi, everyone. This is Frank. I don't know where to start, but I would like to first of all say big thanks to our teacher, our boss, Mr. Laka, for inviting me to speak to you guys. Just to start with it, congratulations to you guys for beginning this exciting journey into the world of data analytics, which we call DA. So whether you are stepping into this field for the first time or building upon established background like someone like me, your decision to pursue this path will undoubtedly open doors for you. Like you will see too many opportunities, and as someone who has walked a similar road both professionally and academically, because I worked on my, even though I'm still working on it, but I'm working on my data science degree, and I'll be starting in the next few months. I'll be starting my master's in data analytics. So I'd like to share some some personal experience. And to start, I'd like to so one of the first questions that I always ask when I want to do something is why what I want to do matters. Right, which is a very important question, because that will help to skyrocket your sense of reasoning on what you have to do and what you need not to do. So, for example, today, we live in the world of data, and data is not going anywhere. That's why when I talk to people, I tell them, hey, regardless of anything that is happening, anything can go out of IT market, any professional let's say opportunities can go out of IT market, but data is not going anywhere, because you go to banks, you withdraw your money, you're logging into website, you go to e-commerce website, logging in, everything that you do is data. Like every transaction, every interaction on social media, everything, every single thing, even the sensor on your smart device, everything generates data. All right. So let me start with my personal journey, my experience from databases to cloud analytics. I came to the US like 8 years ago. So when I got here, like Mr. Della said, some works that we do here, when you get here, whether you are a billionaire in Nigeria or something, nobody sees your face. When you come here, you have to do what others do. And luckily, some people, they already have that IT background. So when they come over here, it's a bit easy for them to, to balance well. But someone like me, I did not have any experience in IT. So when I came here, I was not thinking of getting into IT. But few months after I got here, I first met a friend of mine, and we discussed about that. But it took me 2 years again to, move into data, and it was between the end of 2019 to the beginning of 2020. That was when I started thinking of, going into becoming a database administrator. And I'm talking about Oracle. So when you get into data, you understand that, we have different databases, and then you understand the one that you'll be working on specifically, which is SQL in Microsoft. So when it comes to my journey, I've already said how I got here and, how I met my friend. And, some of us, Africans, Nigerians, we don't believe in some things, especially when it's something that will stress us out. But one thing that I always tell people is that something that you expect to make certain amount of money, it will definitely stress you out. And I always tell people, if you know that you don't, and you are not willing to face the stress that is coming out of this, do not go into it, because I do not want to introduce someone to something and the person will start blaming me. Hey, you did not tell me this. So I always like to make it clear to them. So I started off as a database administrator. I know John right from before we even started, before I got into this class. I know John. I also, Mr. Laka as well. Mr. Laka, he's been a great mentor and also a friend. It's been, anytime that I have issues, I always run to him. If I have any issue related to data, like, writing queries, I always go to him to help me out if it's something that I cannot do. So I started as the database administrator after, going through too many programs, too many IT programs. I've always been the type that is eager to learn. Like, I'm always enthused. I learn, I never stop. So I sit in front of my computer all the time. You can see computers here. You can see I have too many computers here, and I have too many jobs. I have 2 jobs, not too many, but 2 jobs as well. I started working as a database administrator, and then from there, database is like I would say is the stepping stone to what I actually want to do. So that's why I always tell people, you identify what you want to do, discover what you want to do, start with something that will take you to what you actually want to do. What you're doing, data analytics might not be what you want to do. It might be that you want to get into data science as a whole. Now, data analytics will help to open up the door for you to understand data science and everything that entails, or everything that data science entails, right? So I started off as a data administrator after going through Oracle database, which you will soon understand what it is, Oracle database, and then I get into PostgreSQL database before I got into SQL Server. I was in the same class with John, we're in the same group. And then that was when I met Mr. Laka from a friend of mine. So a friend of mine, he told me that, hey, this guy, this friend of mine, this mentor of mine is very good, and he will help you to understand how to actually, because, when we work as DBAs, database administrators, some of us, we believe that we don't need to know some things, but we actually need to know something. I always discuss that with Mr. Laka, that there's some things that we have mentality that cannot take us to anywhere. But once you start thinking of, I need to know this, I need to know that, something that everything about data, that's when you start learning, and that's when you start actually loving what you do in data, and not just being a DBA. So that's the type of mindset that I have. I don't stop. And that's what makes me to keep going. I don't stop. I don't think that, hey, data analytics is the only thing that I need to know. I know that data analytics is just the stepping stone, and there are still more to come as I go in life. So I started with database administrator. I worked for my first company, and then I got into Amazon. I worked for Amazon as a cloud engineer. So you see how I came. So I came from database, and then I went into database, a cloud database engineer in Amazon. Amazon is is among the FANG, the big tech companies. So I work for Amazon now as a cloud database engineer. So when I got into, but it's more of support, supporting customers, fixing their technical issues in databases and all that. So when I got into Amazon, I also have another job with Hilton Hotels, if you know Hilton. I have another job with Hilton Hotels where I work as a cloud DBA. I manage my SQL and SQL Server, but mostly my SQL, which again, you will get to understand what all these databases, what they are as you go. So these are the tenets. I would say that my tenets, first of all, is asking why does something matter? And in this case, why does data analytics matter? Why do you want to do this? And do you think that it's something that will be beneficial to you? Is it something that in the long run, you benefit from it and not just thinking about the present moment? So when I think about now and I think about tomorrow, and then I think about forever until, God calls me. Now, another tenet is making the journey, making most of your journey, learning journey. You have to make Mr. Godwin said, anything you do, you have to make sure that it is not the matter of like getting into it and just doing it. It's a matter of doing it and understanding what you're doing, understanding what all it takes to be. My dad is a writer. In his book, he says, on professionalism, what it takes to be a professional. It takes a lot to be a professional. You have to do a lot for you to become a professional. It's not something that you can just do and you just become a professional. It's something that you have to put in the work, right? Another tenet is embracing data analytics, right? Embracing the process. You have to love it. If you don't like it, for example, you need to understand writing SQL. You need to write SQL consistently. You need to, for you to get grounded in what data analytics is, you need to do it, the visualization aspect, the ETL as a whole, extracting, and everything, but from extracting to the loading part of, of data analytics. You need to understand that you need to be enthused. You need to embrace it for you to understand it. If you don't embrace it, it will be difficult for you to understand it. Trust me, it's something that I've done and I keep doing it every day. Some of my friends, they ask me, how do you manage all these things? How do you do this one? How do you do that one? I always tell them it's because I love it, because I embrace it, because I always do it wherever I am. I'm with my computer trying to do something. And trust me, once you embrace it, it will be difficult for someone to separate you. Like, you always want to go further. You always want to learn, right? Another thing is, another tenet that I believe in life is not underestimating the power of communication. Do not underestimate that. At work, for example, I might be doing something for hours, something that I do not know. I'll be trying to crack it when I know that I don't know it. We have too many AI models that you can use to ask some, but there's some internal questions that AI cannot answer, right? And instead of you trying to crack it, try to meet up with people that you feel like they know better than you. Ask them questions, communicate. That's one of the things that will push you to where you want to be in life. Another thing is, another tenet that I believe is, collaborating and learning from others. This is, in fact, you can ask Mr. John, you can ask Mr. Laka, you can ask whoever it is that I talk to that I'm good with. I ask them questions all the time. In fact, if I have any issue, I call them. I ask them, hey, I'm having this issue. Can you help me out? That's communication and collaborating. You collaborate with others. You learn from others. If others have any issues, try to help them. Sometimes, even when I don't know anything, I will still try to offer that help. Now, when I help them, I'm also helping myself because I'm learning from the process, learning from what I'm helping them fix. Another thing is, another tenet is the importance of adaptability. That ability to adapt. You need to have the mindset to adapt. In fact, one undeniable truth about working in technology is, and especially in data analytics, is that change is the only constant. Things change, and as things change, your role as a data analytics will also have some changes. So it's dynamic. It's something that constantly changes. It's not something that is it's not something that does not change. So every time you have to pick up something to learn. So like I said before, this is not the bus stop. It's not the all and all. As you get into data analytics, you start getting into other things, which is what I do. Like I told you, I'm into data science now. I learn AI, ML to the fullest. I do everything. You talk about deep learning and every other thing that you need to know, which is where the future is heading to right now. So as you get into data analytics, it will help to open up that. Now, another tenet is, the career path, which is the rewarding career path. So once you get into data analytics, like I've already overemphasized before, it opens up a lot of career. You can become a data analyst, you can become a business analyst, you can become a BI analyst, which is more of business intelligence, where you analyze and you visualize data for your company using Power BI, Tableau, also some part of Python. We have some libraries in Python that you can use to easily visualize data, which is pretty straightforward and easy. And yeah, so I think these are some of the things that I just want to make it short, not to take up time. But my closing thoughts, the major thing that I want to say is that this journey is not going to be easy, because some people think that it's something that they can just do anyhow, get out and then look for a job, get a job, and then from there they start living large. No, you have to put in that work. You have to put in hours. So for example, when Mr. Laka or maybe Mr. Lawrence, when he's done with class, you have to watch that video. Sometimes, given that for someone that is already into it, for someone like me, I can watch the video one time and understand it. But for someone like some people that haven't done it before, you have to watch the video. Maybe you have to pause as you watch the video. You might even pause more than the video length itself, right? So if it's something like a 2 hours video, it can take you up to 6 hours to complete, because you're stopping to learn, putting down notes and all that. All those things, you have to go through it, but it is definitely worth it. That's what I have to have to tell you, that it's worth it. So put in your time, that energy, and also believe in yourself. Like Mr. Alaka said, if you don't believe, you cannot achieve. You have to believe for you to achieve. So I think that's all I have to say. And that said, I would like to again welcome you to the world of data analytics. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank, for that beautiful piece. Thank you so much. All right, so thank you. Next, we are going to bring in the next person. But before then, I will also want to encourage you to, if you have friends that you know that it will be good for them to be in this path, it will be good that you also invite them, because when you learn together as a group, it helps. One of the things that we do is that once you start the class, we're going to divide you guys into group. So subgroup, we have different groups. So as a group, you can learn together. You can work together. If someone did not understand something, the other person in the group that understand it can teach the other person. So it's also good to work as a group. All right, so we'll be bringing in Mrs. Tosin Ojo. Are you there, Tosin?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Welcome.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Good evening, Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Uwa, and every of our tutors that are on this call right now. Also, good evening to my colleagues that are here and the incoming students. Also, I'd love to appreciate Mr. Laka for the opportunity to speak at this meeting. To everyone on the call, I'm sure that a lot of persons have spoken already and learned one or two things. We have been paying attention. So in order not to bore us with stories and the likes, I'll just go straight to what I have to tell us. The first thing I would love to mention is the fact that you need to understand that you are in the right place, and KZ Solution is just the right place where they will hold you by the hands and walk you through this data journey, irrespective of whether you are just transitioning or you've been there before. It was a very, very personal experience for me that was mind-blowing. I'd initially wanted to transition because I was into microbiology, the healthcare, and I'd taken on some courses and the likes, but it wasn't It wasn't it. I don't know. It wasn't it for me until I joined. When I joined, the way the lessons were taught, I'm sure you must have heard over and over now that ensure that you don't miss classes. I remember when I also had to come to this orientation program some months back. I remember Mr. Owa mentioned specifically how it's ensure that you don't turn off your videos. Ensure, those things eventually paid off because it made me prepare my mind. So I would just love to encourage you this evening as you are here listening that you ensure that you are determined and you are resolute about it, that this is what I want to do. And if you are joining because you just feel it's the reigning thing or it's something that is in vogue, that I'm also a tech person or I'm also into data analysis, I would advise that you have a rethink about it because it's a very personal journey. I remember telling myself, if people that are medical doctors can, go 5 years, 6 years to learn, and even when they graduate, they start going into different aspects. They do residency, they do a whole lot of things. So this thing is not something that you would learn in 3 months and then stop and then say, I've already learned everything. So ensure that you are ready to put in the work for this journey. The classes are there. Ensure you attend classes. Don't miss classes. As you are teaching, if you have the grace of a second screen, ensure you are practicing. When you finish the classes during the course of the week, no matter how busy you are, try to go back to those things because this thing is much more than being able to quickly do what you've been asked to do and submit the assignments. There's no joy if you don't understand what it is that you are doing. You're just doing it because I've been asked to submit assignments, or Mr. Laka said we should submit our assignment, Mr. Lawrence asked us to submit our assignments. Ensure that you put your mind to what it is that you are doing. My own personal experience, about 2 days ago now, I had the opportunity of getting interviewed for a job here on site. I'm in Nigeria, by the way. I'm in Osun State, in one village in Osun State like that. You understand? But when one of the questions that was asked, having the digital skills in the healthcare sector now, it's not, and that's another interesting thing I would love you to know. Being a data analyst, do the opportunity to, diversify. You can be in the business sector, any sector. You are just, helping them make decisions in whatever aspects that you are in. So as you are there now, begin to think about it. What aspect do I want to look into? Just preparing your mind and preparing yourself for the journey you're about to venture into, not just making it look like I've learned for 3 months and that is it. Another thing I would love to mention, I wanted to complete something that it was this data analysis skill that gave me the edge among other people to proceed in the interview. And by the grace of God, I know that I'm getting the job already, and I'm confident that I would even have remote jobs. And don't listen to naysayers out there that will just say, it's a lie. Nobody's getting any job. Nobody is doing this. It's a lie. People are getting jobs. People are getting paid. People are getting online jobs, on-site jobs. So don't tend towards the negative part that probably you have learned for 2 months and you've even graduated 2 months after, you're feeling like, what is it that we have learned? Ensure that you keep learning, you keep practicing, because it's something that has to stay with you. And it's not like any other thing. If you don't keep doing it, just like Mr. Laka said the other time, you want to learn how to dance. You need to keep dancing. You need to keep practicing and ensure that this thing, I have started and I'm not going to go back and I'm going to make the best of it. If you are not resolute like that, there's no point. Just make sure that you have a rethink before you go ahead in this course. Another thing that I would love to mention is advantage of learning here is that you are opportuned to collaborate with other people. Mr. Laka mentioned the other time that you are going to be put into groups. I can confidently say that I'm still in contact with some of my group members. We talk about it. There's even a person that we usually update ourselves. You tell me, okay, I'm learning this now. I started this now. What are you doing? Oh, this is what I'm doing. Now, don't worry. We keep encouraging ourselves. We are going to make it with this thing. We are going to get there. So there's opportunity for you to collaborate with other people while learning. Another thing that I would love to mention is projects. Ensure that you take on projects. Practice, even much more beyond whatever you are given in class. Practice. Engage yourself. Don't just restrict yourself. Be open to learning and learning and learning. You understand? you can never miss it that way. Be open. Make sure that much more beyond the assignments that you are giving, much more beyond the projects, and ensure that you are getting the projects, not just because you want to. If you don't get it, they're always there. They'll tell you, come and ask questions. If you don't get it, ask questions, ask your colleagues questions. I know that with this few points of mine, I hope that with this people, I've been able to convince you that you are in the right place. You have made the best decision. I know that some of us must have heard when Mr. John also mentioned the other time that no matter what your background is, once you are determined, it's something that is not rocket science, that it's some people that have some certain brain that can do it. You can do it, and there's no limit to how high you can fly out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. Man, by God's grace, you come with testimony. You get that job. So please, Ed, if you have any challenge, anything, please just reach out to us. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, all right. So we are rounding up this section. So this is time for question and answer. So please don't forget what we have mentioned. The class will start mainly, next week. Next week, we are going to start the class properly by next week. So if you still have anyone that want to register, they can still register. Also, we have a website. You can, once you have registered, you have made your payment, then you register on the website. So you are going to, on the website, we have a student portal where you will be on the student portal. That is where you'll be submitting your assignments, be doing some interactions or communication will be through the student portal. All right, so any question now? Question time now. You can unmute yourself and ask question. Question time. We have a minute more. All right. We're going very soon. So please ask your question. Any question or contribution?